Okay. Well, okay, we go straight to the point. I think I've seen Professor Charles. Okay, Professor Charles, good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us. Professor Charles, thank you for joining us. Okay, right, let's start. Thank you so much. We want to just have a short prayer. Thank you for this wonderful occasion, for coming together to learn and also to add to our knowledge and also to grow our mindset for transformation. We welcome you, O God, and we thank you for the opportunity you have given unto every one of us to join, and also for all our great speakers that will be speaking and teaching and sharing their wisdom, experience, and knowledge this morning. We want to say thank you, Lord, for that ability, that opportunity. And we want to commit everything into your hands, oh God. Father, take perfect control. Give us a better understanding of what we're going to learn today. Thank you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So now I'm going to hand over to Ambassador Alexandra.
Okay, thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Continue.
Okay, so I will introduce to you all our first speaker. First of all, the topic that our speaker will be speaking on is mental health, wellness for an empowerment youth. Mental health, wellness for an empowerment youth. So our first speaker is Professor Dr. Mehreen. She's from South Africa. Professor Ma is an educational specialist, and she's also a global goodwill ambassador in humanitarianism. That is the GIA in UN, USA. She's the SA country director for Enacting Dreams of Youth Mind, CC. Also a SA National Director, International Youth Society in Nepal. And our guest speaker is also a president, SA chapter, that is South Africa chapter, Success World One Academy. She's also the president for
Sorry, I don't know what happened there. Let me just stop. Sorry about that. I think I pressed something that I'm not supposed to press. So, but I will continue so that we can, because the time is on our side. Let me continue, Ambassador Alexandra, so that I can be fast with it. Our speaker, first speaker of the day, she is also the president of Chipako International Women's Council, the president of South Africa chapter, Success World Academy. She is also the global ambassador, global educator fraternity. She is also the founder, the CEO and founder of the MEA company. I think she will explain that for us when she's speaking. She's also the founder and director NGO of Helping Hands to Social Society. She is the global executive member and lecturer, International Intensive University, and she is the South African ambassador, Global Educator Network, and also South African ambassador of YYCI Morocco. So to also go further down, she is the multiple global accolade award winner, includes being one of the top 100 women in business in the world, GTC, as well as one of the top 30 women of leaders and change internationally. She entered the Women Appreciating Women Global Hall of Fame in London, UK. She is also the most influential, inspiring iconic women of the universe, awardee IDYMGC 2022. Our speaker this morning is also the most inspiring women of the earth, awardee IIU 2022. And finally, she is also the international public speaker, women empowerment, especially sitting on the multiple women forum, GPV platform, and head up COVID-19 and various communal initiatives to empower humanity at large. So let's welcome Professor Dr. Mehreen Mia from South Africa.
Thank you so much, dear Honorable Queen. Firstly, I must thank you as I thank God for this opportunity. It's really, really an honor to grace this platform for YYCI and to be here and share this with you, a mentor and an amazing leader to us all. So thank you so much for the warm introduction. Let me greet everyone first in the universal greeting of peace with blessings, all the way from a very, very hot South Africa. I'm going to pray quietly that we continue to keep the network alive because we have continuous issues with technology and the gremlins keep worrying us, but we will persevere and we will prevail. So we pray for that. Thank you so much to everyone for joining. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are in the world. And to my dear co-speaker, Dr. Sharma, I am so blessed to share a platform with you. I know, and I can't wait to learn from you too, because you're amazing, fantastic. So it's wonderful and an honor to share the platform with you too. Today's topic of mine is a huge mouthful, right? So I know when Ambassador Alexander was saying it, and when you see it on the post, there's quite a few words attached to that. So it's mental health wellness for the empowered you, or empowerment of you. Lots of stuff in there. I mean, that could take like 3 whole workshops to do. But I'm going to break it down just a little bit so that we can understand how each of those words is almost linked to the other for you to benefit and to grow yourself. Because at the end of the day, what are we seeking purpose of this initiative for? We want to learn something that is going to transform something in our lives, in our mind, within us, so that we transform for the better. Something positive that we're going to take back. So some impact of my message, I pray, is going to reach someone where they will resonate with something I say, and that change or transformation happens within yourself, with your mind, with your body, with your being, so that you grow from it. I pray this, inshallah. So let's start with one word from the entire topic. The you. You. If I have to ask you who's listening to us now, who is even listening to us after this, if you're watching the recording after this, who are you? Define you. Define you as your being. So who are you? And I am not asking you what your role is. I'm not asking you about you being the wife, mother, husband, business person. I'm not asking about your role. I'm asking you, who are you? The individual in you. And if you are able to answer that authentically, that will lead you to define the role that you play. Very often today, we kind of do it the opposite way around. We get so engulfed in the roles that we play, be it the husband, brother, mother, father, business person. We get so engulfed in that role that we forget the individuality of the you. Who are you? And it should be where I identify myself, my strengths, my weaknesses, and that is how I engulf myself in the role I'm playing. And I want to pause here to give you a small analogy so that you can understand what I'm trying to say. Every one of us has a circle of life, circle. We're born into this world. When you are born into this world, you are a little baby. You're given unto your family as a gift unto them, a gift unto yourself also, because you've given life, right? What happens when you're born? Everybody's all around you and everybody's trying to make sure that you are fine and nothing goes wrong with you. And then you grow up as a toddler and you're toddling everywhere and everyone's like, she mustn't fall or he mustn't fall. Don't put your finger into the plug point, you're gonna get burnt. Don't put your hand onto a hot plate, you're gonna get burnt. Everyone keeps telling you what not to do because they're trying to protect you. So you grew up in this environment that teaches you ABCs of life. And what happens as the cycle grows? You then become a scholar. So you go into the school, you go into the world of schooling, different kinds of grades. And as that happens, you tend to see other people, you meet other people, you meet other personalities, other individualities. And then you start to grow into what those roles are. What do they say? What do they think? You know how we talk about peers? You grow into those and you start to say, well, this I like. And you take that back into the space that you were born into. Sometimes the space you're born into doesn't really agree with that. But what I'm trying to show is that you are growing in your cycle as you meet others. Most often, you will have a sibling as your time progresses. So from being the little birth child into the toddler, you've now grown in your cycle of life into being someone who's a scholar. As a scholar, you start to identify certain traits about yourself. What subjects do I like? What do I want to do? What do I wish to be? Etc., etc. Fast forward then right into university level or when you want to study. You then develop the ideology of this is what I wish to do. This is the kind of money I'd like to make. So you get engulfed in the world, right? You're still remaining the baby child. You're moving into the circle of being the scholar. You had your siblings. You're still carrying on to move. So you're growing yourself. Now you're at university. And then lo and behold, you suddenly find in your circle, you decide, I want to get married and have kids. So God blesses you with that. And then you are married and you have children and you've developed your career. So you're this person who's career-minded, professional or businesswoman, or you love to stay home to look after your kids. It's also wonderful. And then those kids grow and they become, their point of entry becomes your birth point. That's your cycle so far. And then you keep growing with your kids and then their grandkids until your demise, right? That's the cycle of life. Why am I pointing this analogy out to you, which is so normal, which is something that everybody knows? Because I want to ask you, I asked before, who are you? If you look at your cycle of life, I've pointed out all of these different points in your cycle. When you were born, you were probably the only child or a sibling. You went into school, you went into university, you went and you got married, you then had kids, then those kids had kids, and then you became a grandparent, and then you demised. But in each of those roles, did the one before that die off? When you were the toddler and you grew into school, did you not be the toddler still who grew up? From the toddler into the scholastic, yes. From there, you went into university. Did you forget or did you not become the scholar? You grew from the scholarship into being into university, tertiary. From there, you grew into your business mode, career mode. Doesn't mean you forgot everything. Then you grew into being a mom or a dad. When you became the parent, did you forget any of the previous roles? No. We remain in each role as we grow and as we progress. So right now, half of you probably listening to me or even more are probably currently a wife, a mother, a daughter, a sister, a sister-in-law, a grandmother, all in one, and a business person. And guess what? Those are all roles that you're playing at one given moment. But like I said, those are the roles you are playing, the various roles you are playing. So in your cycle of life, you do not neglect the initial role that you had. You grow from it. You grow and you develop yourself as your cycle grows and develops, because that is key. So when I ask you the question of who are you, I'm not asking in the role that you're playing in your cycle of life. I'm asking you about your individuality. Who are you? It is key for us to learn. What is it about us that defines us as beings? For us to determine how that being develops into the role we have to play, whatever the role may be in the cycle. So let's move to another word. Let's forget this word of mental. Let's talk about the health. When I speak of health, most of the time when we speak of healthy, we think about maintaining physical health, right? That's across the board. When I talk about health, we talk about a diet, being conscious, your organs, your body, staying healthy, being vibrant throughout our lives. But another very key aspect is the wellness. When we talk about wellness, what does that mean? We're talking about emotions? We're talking about just your physical self, or is that linked together? When we talk about the empowerment, to be empowered does not mean that you become powerful over others. Empowerment means that you are growing and developing yourself. You are powerful over yourself. You are gaining momentum and growing yourself, developing yourself so that you can learn, identify, and clarify the wrongs in your life to make it right for you. But empowering yourself does not give you a right to be dictatorial to somebody else. So empowerment is about you. Again, that word you comes into play. Empowerment is about you growing yourself, developing yourself. Empowerment is about you reflecting, transforming, growing and learning about you, your mind, your health, your wellness, your being. Now, when we have to marry all of these into each other, then comes the mental concept, the mental health and wellness, which is something that is so key, because physical fitness, yes, we know, it's key for the good quality of life that we want. But good mental health and wellness is just as important. And there are four main aspects of the pillars of mental health, and that is across the board. Everybody knows there's the emotional, there's the social, there's the financial, there's the physical. All of those are really key. What is important for us to know is that if you neglect your mental health, if you neglect your wellness of your being, then what are you doing to yourself? You're lowering automatically your levels. The you becomes a lower you. Your energy levels drop. Your self-esteem drops. Your sleep level drops. So automatically your health deteriorates because your mental health is deteriorating. So there is a direct link between each of them. Each of those have this direct link, and that is where the mental well-being is critical for us to be able to lead a balanced and healthy life. So as much as there are so many words in the topic for today, there's a link between each one of them in order to be the most empowered and authentic version of you, and knowing your strengths and weaknesses so that you can engulf and go through anything that life may throw at you. Because our psychological, physical, and social well-beings fall into the category of the mental well-being. And this tells us how you experience stuff, how you respond to stuff, how you perceive things. Those are keys, because our mental health well-being always influences our decision-making processes. And if your mental health and your well-being is not up to par, then your decision-making process is also at a lower level, which means you're not going to have clarity. And that's where the empowerment comes in. The tools to be empowered helps you to gain that clarity, despite what the adversity will be. So when you are an empowered someone, your adversities become your opportunity. Every form of adversity becomes your window of opportunity where you will see, here's my opportunity to grow through this difficulty that I am facing. That is a new definition of you, because you're now rewiring yourself, because you are equipped enough with the tool to empower yourself to know, this is how this is harming me. I'm aware that this is harming me, because that is key. Self-awareness is key. I'm aware that this is harming me in this specific manner. And now here's my tool that I'm going to grow myself through this and work with it so that I get through this positively with a positive outcome. I'm going to pause and give you an example, another analogy. I've used this before and I'd like to use it here because it gives a true meaning to what I'm trying to say to you about your mental health, your wellness, and how everything helps with you developing yourself, growing yourself, and how it affects you. So you're hungry, really hungry, and you want to eat something really badly. You walk into your kitchen, you open up your fridge, and you take out the milk, you take out the cheese, butter or margarine, whatever you wish to use, and you're going to make yourself a cup of tea and a sandwich. And to your dismay, you find that this milk is not good. The bread has got mold in it. You're not too happy with how the cheese looks either because it's moldy. So what are you going to do? Are you still going to use the stuff and make the sandwich and the tea? Of course not. Why won't you do that? because your conscious level of you and your awareness of you and what you are looking at. These things are not good for me, right? So what will you do? Because you have this hunger pang, you want to quench it, you want to deal with it. You're going to replace those which are not looking good in front of you with something a bit more positive that will go into your body. Here's the application of the analogy I've just given you to your life. Life is like that, exactly like that. We're hungry for life. We're hungry to live, not just to exist mundanely every day. However, life and our higher beings throw certain curveballs at us now and again that offset how we may think. So when you got to that fridge and you took out everything, you had this expectation of having this wonderful sandwich and the tea. And then all of a sudden you take out the stuff and whoa, it's not good. It's not looking good. It's not healthy for you. So what do? You're not going to consume something that's toxic for your body because you know there's toxicity there. You're going to harm yourself, right? So you're going to take all of that and put it away, throw it away, and you're going to replace it with something that's good for you, healthy for you, that you wish to consume because now this is going to be good for you. So why then will you, in your individual capacity, who has this knowledge of what is toxic for you in your being, in your body, with your state, with your mind, why do we wish to digest stuff that is toxic from life? Around you right now, there's a lot of toxicity. Our children are having toxic levels of everything around them thrown at them. Youth around the world are having these issues. Adults, elders, we have all of these negatives thrown at us. The control measure sits within your mind and within you as to how to respond to these. Because here's the lesson. The lesson is that everything is happening outside of you. My hunger is inside of me. But what I've taken to try and fill my hunger was from outside of me. And because I knew it was toxic for me, I will not digest that. I will not put that near me because I don't want that inside me. So I take control of me and I do not digest that because I take that decision with clarity, knowing it is toxic. That is an empowered you. When you use that analogy for life, that is your empowered you that surfaces, that knows my mental health is key. My mental well-being is key. I need to use my empowered tool that's teaching me this is toxic for me and not digest what is not helping me, what is not healthy for me. So why do we settle for less with life? We shouldn't have to. We should learn that we are given so many tools of life already. You right now are breathing air without a mask on. You right now are breathing, just breathing. That is a gift in itself. Question, do we appreciate the small gift of a breath? Do we give gratitude for that breath? Do we give gratitude for the small things that we have? Let's take another example. Just before I got on here, technology issues all over the place, right? How is our 10 minutes before I'm supposed to get onto the Zoom? And then Mehreen thinks, oh my God, Professor Dr. Queen Elizabeth Lucas, what am I going to do? So power banks all come on. We try to figure out how do we get to this. Do you know how many of us on the Zoom, even people watching us will know this. We get onto our different platforms that we work on, webinars, etc. And some of us actually get on and then we lose connection and then we try to come back on again and then we've gone back out again and we come back on again. And I ask myself, for example, why do I keep doing that? Doesn't it like offend somebody that I'm in and out all the time, that somebody has to keep adding me in each time here? Because we have the passion. We have the passion to firstly learn as well as to pass out a message. More importantly, we are dedicated. We are dedicated to commitment and we are loyal to a commitment. Because remember, when I, for example, say to somebody, I need to be on the Zoom and yes, I'm going to be there. I have to, my mind needs to tell me, this is your loyalty. You will stay loyal to your commitment, and dedication to your cause is key. So my cause is my passion. My dedication to my cause is where I grow. But my loyalty to my commitment is where I grow through my cause. So everything about anything to do with each of us is directly linked to the mental capacity. Sorry, I see that someone has said that they can't hear me properly. I do apologize. I'm hoping that it's clearer now. Remember that you will have the on and off, and I do apologize for that. I'm trying to use as limited an outage powerhouse that I can to try and get to be heard. So please just bear with me for the network connection and the issues with that. But I will persevere and we'll try and get the message across. Thank you so much for the comment. I'm going to pause now and tell you something. There is a difference. There's a difference between mental wellness and your mental health. Please remember this, because when we talk of mental wellness, when your mental health is in a good state, then this is wellness. When your mind is functioning and you can function in positive ways in your life, then you're mentally well. So you're going to have greater awareness about your abilities. You're going to better handle stressful situations that will come up. And your mental wellness is a result then of you actually investing in your mental health. Mental wellness is your investment in your mental health. So we are needing to know how to do this. And for this, you need to identify again the question, who are you? Because what works for one to grow mentally might not necessarily work for the next one. And the reason for that is because each one of us have a different need. Each one of us needs to learn separate things. Our goals are all different. Our individuality traits are different. And when we talk of mental health, it relates to your body. Mental health is the state of your mind's well-being. Like I said before, your mental health is always in a state of flux. There's always the issue that keeps changing. And it's up to you to be the empowered you that brings it back into balance again. I want to say this here. Your mind and your mental health is so key and crucial for you that it can alter your life. It is a life-altering tool. Your mind is, and I'm not saying this because it's from a textbook. So as much as you heard all of the accolades and whatever was in the introduction about me, yes, there's a lot of studying that goes into that. But what I'm telling you now is not from a textbook. I'm telling you this because I'm teaching you my life's lesson. And I believe that. I believe many of us who teach from our life's lessons are actually teaching even better than from a textbook. So textbooks are important because it gives us the theoretical knowledge, yes. But implementing it in your life to see the change and then knowing that there is the change, that's important. But our life's lessons are also good lessons to teach others. And sometimes we are chosen to go through the most difficult times because we as leaders have to get through that and teach others how to get through the darkness and find the light again. So I'm going to pause here and give you a little story about a young lady. And sorry, I love the analogies because analogies tend to resonate with people. They love stories, okay? It's normal human nature that we kind of like the gossip stories, or we like to hear about some one story. So this is a story about a lady who's finished university, A-grade student, wonderful young lady. And she's about to start finish. She's going to do her bar exam because she was through law, and she's going to open up her practice. She's got this amazing idea of where her office is going to be. And she's really into her vibe now because she's like 21, 22. So she's got everything going for her. She's got the vision, the mission. She's got everything going for her. The dreams are all just at her palm. She's so happy and keen to just go on because she knows where she's going. And there comes life with a car accident. And this young lady, after 12 hours of surgery, is left paralyzed. Paralyzed in a hospital bed, where they said to her, we'll know in 3 days' time whether the operation was successful on your spine, because your spine was crushed. She lies there. 3 days pass. Her doctors come back to her. The operation was successful, but you're not responding well. So let's just monitor this. Okay. Monitoring 3 weeks later, there's still no response. She gets told while she's lying there, you're not going to be able to walk again. We're sorry to tell you that. And based on the fact that this is now affecting certain portions of your spine at the bottom, you're not going to be able to have any children. So we're sorry, we tried everything we could, and they leave. And there she is in high care with the nurse sitting next to her to deal with her because she's lying there. The nurse has to do everything else. The only thing going for her is her mind, her brain. Maybe a bit of her hand, so she can carry a thing here or two, but other than that, she can feel nothing. And there she lay. And she says to herself, what now? I mean, I was supposed to be doing so many different things. Am I going to lie like this the rest of my life? Am I going to be lying like this? No, come on. And then comes her conversation with her higher being. And then she starts to think, well, you know what did I do? What did I do so bad that you're doing this to me? All the natural things that start to happen start to go through her mind. She relives some bads that she did, the rebellious part of her teenagehood, etc., in her mind. And she starts to figure out, you know, what am I doing? How am I going to get through this? And all of a sudden, after a few days, the physiotherapist will come in, you know, brush against her feet, no emotion, no feeling, no nothing, and then he'll sign it off. And she becomes realistic about the fact, I'm not going to be able to walk again. That dream of having beautiful children or whatever I wish to do, it's not going to happen. And then sets in the kind of depression phase. So as a compounding to the fact that she's lying there and all of these things are happening to her medically, organs are not really operating well, etc. The mind is suddenly starting to diminish its power. So she's losing her sense of sanity because everything about her that was sane is not making sense, and nobody is helping that coping in her mind to say, well, it's okay. So yeah, there's family that come to visit now and again, they leave, but she's also feeling like, what's going to happen to my mom and dad? I'm an only child. Are they going to have to be stuck with me like this? This is not right. I'm supposed to be in my office and then spoiling them because they educated me. They gave me so much. This was her dream. And fast forward 7 weeks. 7 weeks. This girl has a dream. And this is not about the spiritual side only. I'm giving you this as part of the story because of you'll see the significance at the end. So she has a dream, but more so that she's listening to a voice that just tells her, how are you? And then she gets irritated and she wakes up and this is gone. So the next day, her mother walks into her high care. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. You're not supposed to do this, right? I mean, high care, you got certain times only, no devices, no nothing, because all these machines are on. And her mom walks in and just puts the phone to her ear. This girl has had a spiritual guide from the age of 11. And at that point, remember, just before that, she was in her teens, university, a little bit rebellious, doing the naughty stuff, etc., etc. Wasn't really into her spiritual side, wasn't praying so much. And her mom walks in with this phone and puts it to her ear. And the voice at the end of that was the spiritual guide from the age of 11. Now she's 22. And you know, when you're a naughty little child and your parent catches you red-handed doing something wrong, you're suddenly like, oh gosh, here's it, it's going to come. That's the feeling she has because she hears this voice. And all he says to her was, how are you? How are you feeling? And she just keeps quiet because she remembers what she envisioned the night before. And the guide says, it's okay. So I'm going to ask you a question. Can you please tell me what they said? What does he ask? Can you please tell me what they said? And she says, well, they said I won't be able to walk again. They said I won't be able to have children. And the next question he asked her was her turning point. Because he then says to her, and what do you have to say about what they said? And what do you have to say about what they said? At that specific junction, she's irritated because, like, hello, I can't quite question them. They're scientists, they're doctors, they're specialists, they know what they're talking about. Who am I to have a say in this? And the call gets cut. So mom leaves because she needs to go back to work. And there she is. But that question kept toiling with her in her mind. Remember, the only thing working for this young lady is the mind. And this question about what do I have to say? But it was a question that she kept resonating within herself, but with this emotion of, I can't believe he asked me that. Like, how do you ask somebody that? Eventually, with this constant pondering of the question, she kind of has a light bulb moment. Do I actually have a say in what they're saying about my physical being right now? Do I have a say? And then she starts to introspect. Not introspect like how she was initially, where she was constantly going into the memories of what she did wrong. She was introspecting with herself. What if I could actually make a difference? What is it that I might be able to change? And there's the voice that comes up that night again and says to her, Mehreen, because the story is about me. You are given 3 things when you were born. You were given the gift of life. You were given the gift of faith. And you were given the gift of your physical being. You threw away your faith and you threw away your family. I'm telling you now, I've only taken away half of your physical being. Because let's face it, when your spine is gone, your half of you is gone, right? Your body is not functioning. But the voice is saying to her, I will give you back all 3 of your gifts. If you just find it within yourself to find what you did or what you said wrong and find your purpose. Grow with your purpose now. So she had homework to do. Firstly, doesn't know where this voice is coming from, but suddenly it was making sense. It took 7 days. 7 days later, when that physiotherapist walked in at 5 a.m. in the morning, so used to doing this at the bottom of her foot. When he did that, she kicked him. And he got the shock of his life and kept doing it, and she was sleeping. She wakes up and she says to the physiotherapist, can you stop doing that? It is irritating. And he says, my gosh, you can't feel that. Yes, I can. And then it dawned on her that yes, she can, Prof. Queen Elizabeth. Yes, she can. She could feel that again. Fast forward to today. I am walking and I am a mother. What was it that equipped me to fight that battle, even though it took me 7 months and 15 days to take my first step again? My biggest tool was my mind. My mind and the mindset shift that I was constantly sitting in, that I altered to realize that my health is closely linked to my mental well-being. And if I put everything into balance and bring it into power again, I might be able to develop my purpose for myself and see it through. And I'm still growing through that to make sure my purpose stays fulfilled until my demise, so my cycle ends. So the story I've just given you, yes, is about me, but the reason I'm giving you the story is to show you every single one of us in this world has that power within ourselves, within our minds, to develop such a state where you are able to alter any adversity that you are facing for the positive. I'm not saying we defy medicine, not at all. Because even my neurosurgeon, for example, said to me, can I take your stuff to Germany because I don't understand what happened with you? I don't understand it either, so please take it. But the point is that there is a possibility. As long as there is hope, as long as there is faith, you will succeed. The point is to never give up, and especially never give up on you, and never give in to the toxic stuff that's around you. You have got to be changing that. And that is why today's topic was key for me. Because your mental health, your mental well-being leads to an empowered you. And that is your formula for the most authentic journey that you will live for your life. So again, I say that I teach from my own example. I teach from my own life. So I've given you my life's lesson today. I'm teaching you what I learned for me, to grow me, to develop me. And I pray God helps me to be able to keep growing and developing as I learn from the honors of Professor Dr. Queen Elizabeth, as well as Dr. Sharma and everybody else, these fantastic leaders that I work with. We keep learning, we keep growing, because like Professor Dr. Queen Elizabeth always says, because yes, we can. The point is, it starts first within you. I started this entire talk by asking, who are you? And I'll end by asking, after listening to me, can you now find who are you? Because in order to make any changes, you have got to be aware that that change has to happen. If you are not aware of something being negative for you, how are you going to change it? So become more aware of you, learn more about you, and remember, you are a gift, yes. You weren't just a gift unto your family when you were born. You were a gift unto yourself when you were born. And when you start to treasure you as the gift, then you will give yourself the most and the best that you can give yourself in terms of knowledge, education, and to grow yourself. And sometimes it doesn't have to cost you money. It costs you time. And the other gift that you are given is the gift of time and choice. What you choose to do with the time you are given for you is critical for how you will develop yourself in your cycle of life. So I will end there and thank YYCI. Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Queen Elizabeth Lucas, for this amazing opportunity. I'm cutting it off now because I do not wish to be cut off with the network. I rather cut off myself. I look forward to my dear sister, Dr. Sharma, and I hope I've made some form of positive difference to someone who's listening. So thank you so much again. God bless everyone.